Previously on McMegane channel.
頃合いかな？見せてやろう。俺たちの新しい力。
Let's go! And now, my thoughts on the mass mechanic in one single clip.
Failing on the highest level.
As we are approaching the release of DBTO 10, I thought it would be nice to go back and talk about one of the most hyped mechanic, and by now quite controversial one, mainly because there are both people who like it and there are both people who dislike it, and that is MASQUE mechanic. And that mechanic hasn't been anything new to this channel, as I already made a video about it before on the first talk, as well as essentially testing of all different mass unit with the exception of Drudgeable. But by the time I have recorded this video, I already have play tested to an extent. So I thought it would be nice to turn this into kind of like a series of video talking about mass mechanic, mainly due to the fact that we are only at just the start of the mass mechanic, as more mass unit has been confirmed over the next few main booster. So if you guys enjoy this kind of content, consider clap that subscribe button, as it will help me tremendously. And let's start off with the MASQUE engine and whether is it good or not in itself. So what I consider to be a mass unit engine is kind of consists of 4 different units, at least the main core of the engine itself, and that is a grade 3 mass unit, the non-grade 3 version of itself, the mass of hydrangea, and the grade 2 dragon tree that allow you to search for the order in itself. So let's talk about mass of hydrangea first, because that is more or less the most common denominator of all the mass units. Mass of Hydragram has 2 ability, one which is the order ability, and that is look at top 5 your deck, choose up to 1 unit with dragon tree or mass in its name, and add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck and you must review that card. Then is additional ability that is not a part of the order effect, is act in a drop zone if you have grade 3 Vanguard that is not a mass unit, review a grade 3 with mass unit in its name, write the card that you review as a cost as stand, if you write, put this card to your soul, and if your opponent is grade 3 or greater, activate based on our right if you haven't activated in that turn. The mass does give you a good amount of advantage, as well as give you a few disadvantage that comes with the mass engine in itself. The good part is that it does give you ability to filter, and this is something that a lot of decks do need because they do not have one to begin with. And its second ability is actually pretty damn strong due to the fact that it does give you a strong aggression if you're going second on turn 3. Not only that, for decks that do need more souls, you technically can use the mass skill on the turn 3 even if you're going first to gain that amount of advantage as well. The problem with this card is the fact that there are one specific scenario that it is really excel at, and that is all it really does. Also, a personal rant here, why it has to be excavate. This is just pertain to me, but I have really shit luck when it comes to excavate effect, so this just triggering me just a little bit. Another common denominator of this engine is the grade 2 dragon tree cards. All of them seems to have the same effect so far, so I'm not gonna go through one by one, but I'll just go through the effect collectively. And that is when it is placed, counter blast 1, soul blast 1, search for 1 mass of Hydragram, add it to hand, and generate 1 dragon tree marker, place it on one of the rear guard circle. So essentially this helps to search out this particular garnet, and not only that, it does give you a Ryuji marker, which is quite crucial for certain deck that is capable of freestanding a rear guards, or at least go into multiple attacks. Now let's move on to the pros, the cons of the engine in itself, and oh boy, there is quite a contrast in the pros and the cons due to the fact that both of them are quite big in itself.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The big pros that this particular engine has is kind of just boiled down to the mass effect and the grade 2 effects, in the fact that they are self-contained, allowing to search for each other. That means that it does give you a decent amount of filter, especially for the deck that doesn't have a filter to begin with. And its second and the main point of the engine is essentially ability to give you a persona right effects on turn 3 if you're going second, giving going second player a good chance of going to a lot of aggression without losing too much to an extent. However, the cons that do come with this deck are extremely glaring that it is extremely hard to ignore even if you high roll your game. The first one is being the engine in itself are pretty intrusive in the sense that it is huge. It occupies almost 1/3 of your deck depending on the way you play with the ratio, but also it consists of 3 different garnets. So for those who don't know, garnets are essentially cards that only have one use and nothing else, and those 3 cards are the non-mass version of the grade 3 for the cost of the mass unit, the mass itself, and the grade 2 dragon trees. Like 3 of them has only one use and you can't really utilize it in any other way aside from discard cost. And not only that, this is quite a one-trick pony in the sense that it only do one thing, and that one thing kind of varies between different mass units, as some of them actually appreciate that more so than the others, but overall it is still a very intrusive engine nonetheless. And that's MASQUE Engine. In my honest opinion, it is quite a one gimmick pony that it is actually fun to play, as there's a lot of way you can kind of play around with your deck testing, and I'm one of those guys. But what do you guys think? Is the engine actually bring anything to the deck that is supported at all? Do leave down in the comments below. And yeah, that's all I have for today, guys. Take care of yourself and see you guys in the next video of the series. The Masked Singer! I think only Thai people will get this joke, seriously.